Hello again, friends. Welcome back to twitch.tv/TrooperBerry, and welcome to a variety Saturday where we're going to check out some games around my part of the world, around East Asia. And that is going to start tonight with Merry Crisis. We got the demo for this game by Monsoon Games, an indie studio based in Singapore, as you can probably tell by the scenery behind the crowd there. It is a character-driven romance visual novel about love, loss, and belonging. Rotates around life in both Singapore and New York. It is one of the many demos I've got sitting in my playlist. I thought this would be a good time to jump in. Also a good time to knock the rust off my visual novel skills, because starting September 1st, we have been invited to take part in the Fall in Love Festival hosted by Studio Elan. It's going to be a bunch of visual novels centered around romance. Some more wholesome than others, it appears. But let's see. We'll check our preferences real quick. That all seems fine. Oh, there we go. We had our credits. Ali, character art Crows and Nez, Celia, Fee. Okay, lovely. Anyway, let's jump in. Yeah, here we go. I think down on the key in Singapore. It looks very familiar. Okay, player setup. So we got some character customization. It's lovely. Your character is... let's see, man, woman, or non-binary. Whatever. For flashback scenes, your character was born... Oh, okay. I guess. Oh, there are 3 romanceable characters in the game, all of them gender selectable. Oh, neat. Okay, so all romanceable characters are women, all romanceable characters are men. We can roll the dice, or we can pick. I don't know. We like looking at women here. Okay. Content warning: the game may explore themes of racial prejudice, homophobia, family conflict, and transphobia, depending on the playable character's identity and choices. I think we skipped over that bit, but it is good of them to note that it is a possibility. We have prologue: the arrival. This is not Singapore. This has snow. Okay, this is presumably in New York. I mean, the only time I saw snow in Singapore was when I went to there was a Christmas market down at Gardens by the Bay, and they had a little fake snow blowers that went on like every hour or so, every 90 minutes, something like that. It was not convincing. Okay, December 22nd. You sprint down the street. There had been an early sprinkling of snow 2 days ago, and the streets are still slippery with patches of black ice. Ooh. It'd be absolute madness to be running full tilt the way you are, but nobody bats an eye. But it's New York. Nobody cares. Hey, Pancake, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy Saturday to you. Hope it's a nice, relaxing day for you. You've lived here long enough to know that New York City is full of people who are late to something or another. Probably because of the trains. Oh, in your case, your flight to Singapore is less than 4 hours, and you still need to grab your stuff from the apartment. Oh dear. That means we gotta get to JFK. So we can run like my life's on the line, or slow down enough to avoid falling flat on my face. Well, I feel like, I mean, I feel like we're gonna get to Singapore either way. But maybe if we slow down, we can avoid any comedic collisions. You figure that if you end up as roadkill, you definitely won't make it for Christmas dinner. Your mother's already mad enough you're only visiting for a week, so you don't want to know how she'd react if you don't come home at all. You're a yard from your apartment building when two very familiar hairy things burst out of the front door and charge towards you. They leap straight at you, yapping noisily, knocking you off balance. Okay, that one I can see. This one doesn't look like it has a lot of mass behind it. I feel like we could parry this one pretty easily. You take a step back, right onto a patch of ice. You flail frantically in the blind hope of catching a nearby railing. Fortunately, someone catches your arm before you faceplant into the sidewalk. It's Nat, your housemate. I'm so sorry, Keo and Liz dashed out before I could clip their leashes on. Liz wags her tail and beams at you, while Kehoe gives you a smug smile, completely unrepentant despite their role as your near-death experience. Okay, so this must be Liz, and this is clearly Kehoe, because that dog has some sass to it. I'm never too busy to get a good pat or give Nat a quick nod and wave before continuing on. That seems rude. Especially since she just stopped us from breaking our neck. Small dogs typically have a lot of sass. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they can't be big, they at least gotta act big. Maybe it's a survival instinct of some sort. You technically have no time to spare, but you've never been able to resist these two. You toss a toy bone for Liz, then give Kehoe a pat. Liz scampers off happily in search of the bone, and Kehoe gives you an imperious bark of satisfaction. Nat watches you, gaze lingering, expressions hovering somewhere between fond and sad and something you still don't have a name for. Even now, her voice carries a warmth you spent the past few weeks trying to forget. "4 weeks ago. The breakup had been amicable, mature. You'd both simply been moving in opposite directions. Or so Nat had put it, anyway. You stand in the kitchen of your shared apartment, reeling from all that had been said and left unsaid. The radiator hisses unevenly in the corner, working overtime to fill the silence. A half-drunk mug of tea sits between you, long since gone cold. Yes, we gotta bust out the old flashback to work in some more backstory. It is the prologue, so that's not a thing that's gonna happen. Okay, I think there's a rice cooker right there. Like no kitchen drawn by a Singaporean would be complete without one. You'd sensed that Nat hadn't been happy for a while now, but you hadn't realized it had got this bad. Breakup bad. Are you even happy with me? I'm not unhappy, just too busy and distracted, or deep down, I know I haven't been happy. I don't know, I have nothing to go on here. Truth is, You've been so busy with your own career, you stopped paying attention to what was happening between you and Nat. Perhaps in some ways, you willfully refused to see the warning signs because you thought your relationship with Nat was too good to fail. The last 4 years with Nat have been some of the best years in your life. Stupidly, naively, you'd genuinely expected those good times to last forever. But you didn't need the had there. Nat reaches over and takes your hands in hers, smooth and warm and big-knuckled. It's a gesture so familiar, it makes your heart ache. I love you, but we can't keep going on like this. Something sharp and desperate claws at your throat. Can't we work this out? Or not silent? I know a dead end when I see one. I mean, even if we want to work it out, I think it's pretty clear that Nat does not. I think we just nod silently. As much as you wish things worked out between you, you lived long enough to know that sometimes things just don't go the way you want them to. You know a dead end when you see one. The two of you stare at each other from across the table. The silence stretches between you. A part of you wants to cling on, but was there anything left to save? A week passes. December 3rd. You're still living with Nat in that same tiny apartment. You've already packed your things into neatly labeled boxes and you've been scouring websites for apartments to rent, but New York City rent is sky high. Maybe not Hong Kong sky high, but definitely sky high. As a late 20-something year old, without much savings to your name, there just aren't many options. So try my best to move on, or, unlike my belongings, my feelings prove a lot harder to pack up and stow away. Well, let's be stoic. Let us endeavor to make like Elsa and let it go. You pack your feelings away and seal it up along with the rest of your belongings. 6 boxes to contain half of the life you'd once shared. Actually, we keep saying journal updated. Okay, we got characters, journal. Oh, okay, yeah, Nat calls that we fun on the road. All the problem we've been running from finally catch up to us. December 3rd. 4 years and a half with Nat packed away into 6 boxes. Okay. You remind yourself this is for the best. This is what Nat wanted. You gonna make lunch? No worries, Pancake. We'll be going for a while, hopefully. A car honks loudly. The sound of traffic transports you back to the cold street, breath fogging in the December air. It's beginning to snow properly now. Tiny snowflakes settle in Nat's hair on the shoulders of her jacket. Okay, do we lean in to brush them off, or do we step back, establishing distance? Okay, are we gonna be mean to our ex, or are we gonna keep trying to treat each other like human beings? Let's try to be nice. Before you realize what you're doing, you reach out to gently brush the snow from Nat's hair, tucking a stray strand behind her ear. You hear the soft intake of breath when your fingers graze her ear. Nat blinks, cheeks coloring slightly in surprise. You pull your hand back, wondering if you've crossed a line. But Nat's gaze is warm, and it makes you wonder if she is too. Or I wonder if she too is thinking of all the winter holidays you'd spent together, making snow angels and sipping chocolate by a window. Now it said relationship updated. Oh! So, Nat, your current flatmate, and your very recent ex, you might still be in love. Okay, so we got friendship and romance bars. I see. So you can't be friends without necessarily being romantic. I wonder if you could be romantic without necessarily being friends. That feels like it'd be more difficult. Oh, there we go. Oh, we have Chew, your first love. Haven't spoken in years, you still harbor some resentment. Shay, your neighbor's new tenant. We don't know them at all. And Junie, your best friend from junior college. We are friends. And it looks like romance is not an option. We have Mom. We have a decent relationship. And Dad. D, or Die, your younger brother. Kehoe. Nat's Karen Terrier thinks he's the king of the world. Of course. So we have medium friendship. We like each other. And Nat's border collie. But a border collie living in a New York apartment, that feels bold. For a moment, you can just about pretend you're 21 again. College seniors. Still in love and full of hope for the future. The space between you seems to crackle, but the silence is a thick layer of hard, packed ice. It's Nat who breaks the silence. When does your flight leave? 3.5 hours. With a change of expression worthy of an 80s sitcom, all the color bleeds out of Nat's face. Shit, need a lift? At your hesitation, Nat waves a hand. It's no problem. What's the point of a holiday if you can't even use it to save a... Nat falters a little at this, but soldiers on. Housemate in a time of crisis. The hesitation when Nat had said housemate makes your heart constrict. Shake my head stiffly. I can't keep relying on Nat like this. Give a grateful hug, thank you, or how would I repay you? Do you want my firstborn child? I joke. Okay, that seems like a bit much. That seems cold. Again, express our thanks. You pulled Nat into a hug. Nat lets out a small sound of surprise, but a second later relaxes into your arms. You breathe deeply, inhaling the familiar scent of Nat. For a moment, you can almost pretend nothing has changed between you. The thought brings a warm sting to your eyes, and you step back, blinking quickly. Thanks, Nat. I really appreciate it. Nat's expression is gentle, but you catch a flicker of something you can't quite decipher. En route to JFK. Nat is one of the few New Yorkers you know who owns a set of wheels. Yeah, that would be pretty rare. You've spent countless weekends exploring the small towns along the Hudson River, hiking in the nearby Catskills, going on road trips. You've been driving through a blizzard to Quebec, singing terrible pop songs at the top of your lungs, when you first realized how in love with Nat you were. At the next stop sign, Nat turns to glance at you. So, what do you say when your family asks you what you're still doing in New York? You'd expected to return to Singapore after college, but you started dating Nat in senior year, so you'd found a way to stay a little longer. 1 year led to the next, and before it, you spent nearly 3 years in New York after graduating. We can say, I do miss Singapore. Sometimes I wonder what I'm still doing here. Or, even without Nat, New York's starting to feel like home. I wonder if this is going to shape how we're, like, what dialogue options we have back home. I know, hey, it's a demo. Let's try it. Yeah, even without Nat, New York's starting to feel like home. You let out a long exhale and look out the window on your side of the car. Singapore is where you grew up, but it never quite felt like a life you'd chosen. I mean, that's fair. Like, we don't choose where we're born or where we grow up. Or very, very few of us, anyway. In New York, with a million other transplants to the city, you feel a little lighter, free from expectations of what you should do, whom you should be. Nat had never pushed you to settle in New York for good, but you'd been considering it. At first, you stayed in New York because Nat was here, but as time passed, you've come to think of New York as home, too. A part of you wants to stay in the city, even though there are pieces of Nat everywhere in New York. Restaurants and bodegas and parks and street corner markets that remind you of her. But perhaps you could reclaim each piece of the city, if you had to. I've built a life here too. Nat stared at you for a long time, curiosity mixed in with the pain. It'll be nice to still have you in the same city. The traffic light turns green again, finally, and Nat starts the car up again. Nat slides into a spot at the airport drop-off area. See you when you get back? You can't help but think about all the times Nat had driven you to the airport, kissed you goodbye, and told you how much she'd miss you while you were gone. How many things had you done together without knowing it would be the last time? Nat reaches across the center console and takes your hand. Your heart leaps to your throat. There's something soft and unguarded in your gaze that makes you want to lean in. We can lean in and press a kiss to Nat's cheek, or that's a terrible idea. Okay. Well, okay. Well, let me not be too judgmental here. Because there were options for random. So maybe a player has one gender they're attracted to, and if you get a role that maybe you're not necessarily interested in, maybe you just want to keep a distance. You don't want to lead them on. I mean, it feels weird to say that about a fictional video game character, but still. So I can see why these options are here, but that feels really mean. Nat's fingers curl more tightly around yours, breath hitching softly. Even after you pull back, your lips still tingle where it grazed Nat's skin. The kiss is goodbye, and I love you, both at once. Okay. Maybe I'm just a shameless flirt. That could be true as well. I should probably get going. Nat nods. You wonder if it's taking every ounce of willpower she has to hold herself back from doing more, wanting more. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your week back home. You slip your hand out of Nat's and get out of the car, heart still thudding in your chest. Okay. Nat sends me to the airport. Just like every other time we kiss goodbye, I can always pretend everything's as it was, as it should be. Okay, well, the romance bar's creeping up there. One very long flight later. Yeah, if you take Singapore Air, it'd probably be non-stop. Although Singapore Airlines is pretty expensive. Might be out of our price range. December 24th. You wheel your luggage into the lift of your public housing block. Ah, yes, the old HBD flats. HBD? No. HDB. HDB. Housing Development Bureau. The doors are about to clang shut when someone dashes towards you at full speed. Oh, good. Calmly press the door open button. God, there was a timer there. I almost didn't notice. QuickTime events. Oh, my nemesis. With commendable composure under pressure, you reach out and push the door open button. But these old nuts have a mind of their own. The lift doors continue to close, but the person continues to rush forward. Oh no! The lift door clangs shut around the boot. A second later, the doors jerk back open, and the person strolls in, grinning at you. We have Shay. Nice. Didn't want to wait for the next lift. I'm going to shrug and jerk into the buttons. Floor. Give a friendly smile or a wink for you. Anything. Who's this person again? Your neighbor's new tenant. Okay. I mean, are we going to be a shameless flirt? No, I'll be a shameless flirt. For you? Anything. The woman lets out a low, musical laugh at this, then moves in closer to you, dark eyes dancing with amusement. I'll keep that in mind. She reaches out to press the button for the 11th floor, the one you live on. You put two and two together. This must be Shay, your neighbor's new tenant, the one your mother complains about in every phone call. Wait, your neighbor's new... Okay, wait, are they leasing out their HDB flat? Can you do that? I guess you can. The company she brings home, the late-night jamming sessions with her bandmates, the Muddy Mountain bike track she leaves in the corridor. Okay, yeah, I can understand why she might be unpopular. You study the woman in greater detail as the list starts trundling upward. She's wearing ripped black jeans and a sleeveless red tee which shows off strong shoulders, defined muscles, and tan, sun-kissed skin. There's a guitar case slung over her shoulder. When you return your gaze to the woman's eyes, you realize you've been caught staring. She winks at you. Like what you see? Her voice is low and playfully flirtatious, and you can see why your mother disapproves. You flirt with her when you meet in the lift. Blink, brain short-circuiting slightly. We're neighbors, I say matter-of-factly, or sorry, it's just, I've heard a lot about you. Shay, right? Yeah, let's try to be cool, be smooth, be suave. Shay's eyebrows lift in surprise. Then, realization dawns. Ah, right. Your mother talks about you all the time. Complains about how I left home, no doubt. Okay. Oh, wait, no, not that one. Yeah, okay. All right. Shay's smile broadens. Among other things. Your conversation is interrupted by a loud ding as the lift arrives on your floor. You step out of the lift into the corridor after Shay. You spent countless afternoons kicking a ball back and forth along this very corridor with your brother. Ooh, 11 floors up? That better have been some gentle kicking him out. You catalog the changes since the last time you've been back for Lunar New Year. It's been more than 8 months since then, much to your mother's disapproval. Oh boy. Good thing it's not my family. It's been a few years since I've been back. Although that will change next month. For one, there's a new row of thriving plants, extending from your family's unit to the one next door. Shay smiles at you and gestures down the corridor. Want to be introduced to the fam? You blink. A split second later, you realize she's referring to her plants. Sure. They're probably great talkers. Shay introduces each plant to you in loving detail. The finicky orchid, the indestructible ZZ plant, and the drama queen fiddle leaf fig. Finally, Shay waves at your family's sad bougainvillea that has been neglected for years. Hey, Nintress, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. And good to see you. Welcome in. Hope your Saturday's going all right. Yeah, we're just here, checking out some demos and some new games. Taking a quick little break from TLD, which we do from time to time. Hey, maybe you can get this poor soul some TLC while you're here. I'm only here for a week. Oh. Shay's face falls slightly, but she quickly recovers. We'll make it count. See you around, neighbor. You continue on your way down the corridor to your unit. Okay, you arrived home, met the neighbor mom's been complaining about. Despite what she says, Shay's fun. I'm home! Your mother rushes out of the kitchen to smack you on the arm. Ow! What? You should have come back a week earlier, or stayed a week longer. 1 week, pathetic. Not being enough time to binge watch a K-drama. A second later, she pulls you into a brief hug. She's never been a particularly physically affectionate person, but she does hug you each time you come home to visit. You return the embrace. In her arms, she feels smaller, thinner than you remember. Your dad comes running out of his room at the commotion. He, on the other hand, has grown a belly. Wow, body shaming our dad. Oh, there you are. Should have let us pick you up from the airport. No need to waste money on a taxi. He waves a hand at the containers on the table, beaming proudly. Dabao from your favorite stall at Red Hill Market. Oh, yeah, Dabao takeaway. Little bit of Singlish there. Your mother frowns accusatorily at you, taking in your ravenous expression. Sometimes I think you come back for the food more than for us. I mean, it's Singapore. That's not out of the question. Your dad shrugs. Oh, I'm happy as long as something works as big. Where's Dean? Oh, he's out hanging with a friend again. Again, on Christmas Eve. She makes apostrophe marks with her fingers at the word friend and shares a meaningful glance with your father. You take this with a pinch of salt. Your mother has a habit of simply assuming things that she'd like to believe. And yet she'd done the opposite with Nat, continuing to refer to her as a flatmate months after you told them about your relationship. Okay, we got some slight racial prejudice and homophobia coming. Woo! You suppose that for them, it was just easier than confronting the fact you were dating a black American instead of a Chinese Singaporean. Of the wrong gender, too. Before you can sink further into these thoughts, the front door swings open violently. Your younger brother tosses his socks, and bag by the gate and sashays into the house. Hey, something smells amazing. Can I have some? Your mother rolls her eyes and mutters something about bottomless stomachs, but waves everyone over to the dining room. Okay, so we can smile and say, sup. We used to be close, but we've grown apart since I left. Nod him slightly awkwardly, hi. Or elbow him smirking, Mom thinks you're on a date. I mean, okay, let's fully commit. Yeah, Mom thinks you were on a date. Mom glares at you, betrayed, but your brother only laughs. Your mother's eyes light up with hope. So it's true? I can neither confirm nor deny. Okay. So, didn't lose too much with Mom. We're equal with everyone in the family. Your brother plonks down in the seat next to you. Every time I see you, you look even older than I remember. That's how aging works, genius. Sucks to be you. At least I'm not the one getting dumber every year. The two of you grinned at each other. You'd never admit it out loud, but it's good to see him. For the first couple minutes, there's only the sound of utensils scraping as all four of you practically inhale the food. It's truly the best thing you've tasted in weeks, maybe months. I mean, fair. New York has good food. No doubt about that. But it's not Singapore food. After the free feeding frenzy dies down, conversation resumes. So, how have you been? Okay, so we can be honest, or we can answer vaguely and remain mostly silent. Now, come on. They're gonna ask about the relationship anyway. You tell them about your job, a new hole-in-the-wall Chinese restaurant you discovered, and the latest dating disaster that has befallen Kenny, the son of a family friend. It's almost as though you never left. Once you've warmed up a little, you start talking more about yourself and how you've been. You talk about the record deal you've gotten. Wow. How they've given the green light on your draft album, which is still on track for release in spring next year. Your parents had never been too keen on you making music for a living, but at this, your mother slips you a small smile. Oh, your father has been karaokeing to your YouTube channel. Oh, that's good. Very catchy. Your brother smirks. He sings so loudly the neighbors know it now. Eventually, the conversation turns to Nat. Here we go. And even though you had intended to tell them about the breakup, you can't bring yourself to in the end. Soon, the food has been polished off. After lunch, you're in the kitchen with your mother helping to clear up. Of course, the two women go into the kitchen. Well, here we go. When you were younger, you'd resented the fact your mother never really expected your brother and father to help with most of the cooking or cleaning. But it's for that reason the kitchen has been one of the few quiet, intimate places you shared with your mother, a sanctum of sorts. She's always been most comfortable talking to you about difficult topics amid the cooking fumes and the sound of sizzling oil. Today, standing side by side of the sink, you can't help feel a bit of you can't but help feel a bit of that old closeness. Oh, hey, King Wolfie, welcome in. Your father. She stops abruptly and waves her hand at you dismissively, changing tacks. Well, we're both not getting any younger. So when are you having kids already? She's been saying this for years in an attempt to guilt trip you into returning home. But this time, her tone makes you think there might be more to it than she's letting on. Just as you're about to ask her what she means, she shakes her head and turns away. Well, this is productive. Your mother walks off to tie up the garbage into a plastic bag. When she returns, her expression has softened into a smile. It's good to have you back. I just wish you'd stay longer. You blink. It's classic behavior from her. Something almost tender, bundled up with a jab, all to distract you from what she'd been about to say earlier. Okay, so we can just nod and be able to say it back. We can smile, say, I missed you guys too. Or we can press the issue. I mean, it feels like it was something important, but at the same time, I don't think pressing the issue is going to make mom very happy. So just smile and say, I missed you guys too. Your mother's smile wavers a little, then suddenly she blurts, help me convince your father not to eat so much oily fried food, okay? You nod, about to follow up with another question, but your mother clamps her mouth shut, a clear signal that is all she will say on the matter. Right as you head out of the kitchen to throw away the trash, your mom adds tentatively, "So, how are things with you and Nat?" Welcome back, Pancake. Decided to spoil yourself with you made fries with a steak. Wow, that is a quality meal. But hey, it's a Saturday. Why not? You're not sure whether to be touched or horrified that she's finally recognizing your relationship with Nat now that it's finally over. So we can shake my head. I'm not getting into this. A bitter edge creeps into your tone. What do you care? You never liked Nat anyway. Or we can just tell the truth. Well, these feel avoidant, understandable, but we're being an open book to all and sundry here. So yeah, we broke up. You've never really been the type to go into details about your love life with your family, but you do mention Nat from time to time, and she features in your phone calls. The news spills out of you before you can stop yourself. We broke up. Oh no, how come? You sigh, wondering how to summarize all the subtle tides that had, little by little, carried you both in different directions. Also, I'm noticing there's been a long gap with no music here. Yeah, music's still on, as far as I can see. I guess in the end, we just felt like we didn't really belong in each other's worlds. You raise yourself, waiting for her to say something about how she told you to date a Chinese Singaporean, but she doesn't. In fact, she actually does look sorry for you, though her tone is gruff. Mm, with internet, there's such a thing as different worlds, man. You draw in a long breath, then shrug. Honestly, you're surprised at how your mother's actually trying to talk to you. That's new. The two of you stand wordlessly in the kitchen for a while, until finally you grab the trash bag and head out. I didn't realize how long I've been away. Mom was out doing. Feels ironic we broke up just as my family's starting to acknowledge the relationship. Oh, and we have actually we have maxed out with Mom. Just as you round the corner to the shared rubbish chute, you bump into Shay. She's repotting one of her plants in the corridor, humming a little tune as she works. She pauses and looks up as you walk past. She brightens and gives you an enthusiastic wave, nearly flinging a couple clods of mud at you in the process. Well, we're not on the clock or anything, so we'll chat with Shay. You draw a little closer. Are you singing to your plants? After carefully setting the plant into its new pot, Shay straightens and smiles at you. Or to you, if you like. To your surprise, Shay actually begins to sing the chorus of the song she'd been humming, her voice oak-timbered and rough-hewn. You roll your eyes, but can't help smiling. All right. Save it for the fiddle leaf fig. Yeah, I've been meaning to ask for your number. So we can sass her back, saying, just like that, no dinner date first? Or, sure, but if you piss me off, I'll pass your number to my mom so she can rant at you. Or, nah, it's an American number anyway. Well, we don't know where Shay's from. She is wearing New York Knicks garb, so she might be based there too. Yeah, we'll go maximum sass. But just like that, no dinner date first? She lets out a throaty laugh. I'm playing a Christmas gig tomorrow. Want to come? We just met 5 minutes ago, and you want me to spend Christmas with you? Shay winks at you. Great music, drinks on me after. What better way to spend Christmas? Besides, you're the one who wanted a dinner invite. No pressure. I'll send you the deets and you can decide later. You nod, mulling it over as you head back into the house. Okay, we are on friendly terms. That's good. You can already hear your mother in your head growling about bad influences who drag you out onto wild late-night parties instead of spending time with family on Christmas. Then you get a call from Junie, your best friend from junior college. The equivalent of high school, grade 11 and 12. You're back in Singapore, finally! I stare at a picture of you on my phone once every couple of months so I don't forget what you look like. You laugh. You've been friends for years, so you know just how dramatic she can be. That's creepy. Also, I video called you literally a month ago. Still, you've got plenty to update each other about. Eventually, the conversation loops around to the class reunion scheduled for the day after Christmas. By the way, Chu just confirmed she's coming to dinner. Your heart twists. It's been nearly a decade since you've last seen Chu. Feels as though you met each other a lifetime ago now. There we go, another flashback. 8 years ago. So yeah, we would have been still in school. You're at a party with Junie and her boyfriend, Tech. Oh, and we're in standalone detached housing, so someone's got real money. At some point between the rowdy drinking games and chit-chat, you wander out to the pool alone for a bit of a breather. You get a couple seconds of blissful solitude before someone else slips out the back door and joins you. It's Chu. You've seen her around in school and seen her name on every single dean's list since the dawn of time. You know she's got a reputation for being aloof, but you've never really spoken until today. Need some peace and quiet? You laugh and raise an eyebrow at her pointedly. Well, I'm not going to get it now. The conversation starts small: school, mutual friends, favorite bands. Then somehow, the momentum sweeps you both along with it. She listens more than she talks, and her attention feels all-encapsulating. Time passes in a hazy blur, thick and viscous, and you keep talking longer than you planned to. People occasionally come in and out of the back door, but you barely even notice. For who knows how long, nothing pierces the bubble that forms around the two of you. Eventually, though, the party begins to empty out, and the few remaining people come streaming out of the house. Suddenly there's a loud whoop, and the host dives headlong into the pool with a massive splash. A second later, everyone hoots and plunges in after him one by one. Cackling and cheering erupts around you. Alright, seems like the madness is starting. I'm heading home. You? So we can laugh and jump in the pool as well, dragging Chu along with me. Or nod and say, yeah, let's get out of here. Well, we don't know those people, so, yeah. The two of you say your goodbyes to the rest, then walk out of the house together. You linger at the front gate. There are no stars, not that you can see anyway, but the sparkle in Chu's eyes is close enough. It seems neither of you want to say goodbye just yet. The motion is so quick you're not sure if you'd imagined it, but you can just about swear you see Chu's eyes dip down to your lips. So, you gonna kiss me or what? Press her up against the house's sidewall and kiss her, or take a deep breath and let the moment pass. Hey, Sai, good to see you. You watched the run completely? Oh no. And you've written a novel. Honestly, fair. I know there's lots that could be done. You know what I was trying to say by Whisper? Do you mind giving your Discord, or can you actually yeah, I can do that right now. Beep 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 beep. There you go. Yeah, you can hop on. I think that invite that should be a permanent link, so it should work. If not, tell me and we can sort something out. But I'm 87% sure it should work. But good to see you, Si. I hope your weekend's going well. And I appreciate your thoroughness. Oh, is that a link to a? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, I think my Discord name should also just be like my username, unless you need something more. Um, let me check real quick. Just make absolutely sure. Yeah, I believe yeah like my Discord name should just be my username. I mean, you're free to join the Discord if you want, but no, I think yeah, it should be just yeah my username. I mean, yeah, you gonna kiss me or what? Your breath hitches as Chew closes the distance between you. One thing had led to another tonight, but you certainly hadn't expected it to lead to this. You have sent a friend's request. Excuse me. All right, awesome. Yeah, appreciate that, Si. And let me actually let me, while I still have the window open, let me just get that sorted, so that I do not forget later. Boop 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 boop. There we go. Done and done. The kiss is bruising. Chew's hands come up to grip your hips, and the world swirls all around you. When she finally pulls away, she's breathing hard, eyes still dark with desire. So, how are you getting home? Want to walk together? You smile, glad that you had found a way to make the night last just a little longer. Weeks pass. After that, the two of you go back to your separate, parallel lives. Occasionally you'll bump into each other in the hallways between classes, but that kiss slowly fades into memory. That is, until the final year of junior college. As fate would have it, Chew transfers into your class and gets assigned a seat next to you. There is an inescapable intimacy sitting next to shoulder to shoulder, or sitting shoulder to shoulder for hours every day, watching Chew take notes in her absurdly neat handwriting. As the days go by, the two of you begin spending more and more time with each other after class. Remain cold, almost competitive. Keep my feelings to myself. I mean, okay, no, we have always been a shameless flirt. You don't have a name for it yet, but every time her eyes meet yours across the classroom, there's a sharp tug at your gut. You find every opportunity to tease Chew, to make her laugh. Whenever she smiles or blushes, you feel your heart flutter, just a little. Even your classmates begin to notice, and it becomes a running joke in your class. Well, this would have been the 90s, so yeah, the casual homophobia would have been rampant. When you ask if it's too much, if she'd prefer if you left her alone, Chu flushes right down to her neck. No, it's fine. From that moment on, you start thinking, hoping, that maybe, just maybe, she feels the same way about you. One afternoon, after cheering your school team at a football match, you're on your way home when you realize you've left your wallet behind. Cursing, you turn back. The storm hits. By the time you look at your wallet face down in a puddle at the edge of the field, you're soaked through. As you bend to pick the wallet up, a shadow comes over you. It's Chu, trying valiantly to hold an umbrella over the two of you. The rain's coming at you in great horizontal sheets, and the wind is yanking the umbrella around, despite Chu's best efforts to keep it upright. Yeah, that sounds like a typical Singapore mid-afternoon thunderstorm. Thanks, but I'm not sure the umbrella's doing much at this point. I didn't realize you were such a defeatist. By the time you reach the shelter of the bus stop, you're both soaked to the bone and breathing hard from the sprint. Chu looks down at her drenched clothes and pushes a wet strand of hair out of her face. The bus stop is deserted. The buses must have just gone by, which means there's a long wait ahead. The rain's loud enough that there's no pressure to talk, but Chu holds your gaze instead of taking out her phone. Okay, so if we've got a phone, maybe we're in the early 2000s. Yeah, because it said we're a 20-something. So, yeah, 8 years ago. Okay, yeah, it would have been time when, yeah, phones would have been more prevalent. As you study Chu, you notice her lips have gone slightly pale, and she's shivering slightly. Jeez, you look like you're on the verge of death. I might be. Bite my lip guiltily. Oh dear, are you okay? We grin. Hypothermia in a tropical country. Tomorrow's breaking news. She could, genuinely be having some issues. I could huddle close for warmth. Chu blinks and arches an eyebrow. You see a spark of amusement in her eyes. Are you taking advantage of the situation? You grin, stepping closer. Suddenly, her face is only inches from yours. Maybe just a little. A second later, Chu's leaning in, slow enough for you to pull back, if you wanted. I mean, come on. We practically set this up on a tee. When your lips meet and your hands go to grip Chu's hips, an involuntary tremor runs through her. You're almost certain it's not from the cold. A second later, a wave of water splashes into the bus stop, hitting the back of your legs. You step back, only to catch a bus trundle away and disappear around the corner. Oh shit, there goes my bus. A moment later, your bus pulls up. You give Chu a jaunty wave. Oh, come on! I ever come to your place? Chu splutters. What? You're just gonna abandon me here after... Chu flounders and doesn't finish the sentence. Pancake, we're embracing the shameless flirt lifestyle. Because again, it's a demo. None of our choices are going to matter. You climb aboard, suppressing a grin. Although you won't admit it to Chew, your heart's still doing loop-de-loops in your chest. See you tomorrow! From that day, there's no turning back. You fall fast and hard for each other. You see each other every day and spend hours talking on the phone in the middle of the night. Messages exchanged in the margins of literature books, a dozen different ways to type "I love you" on the graphing calculator. It's so far from the kind of romance you've been told to expect that you hadn't admitted to yourself until it bludgeons you on the head. But in hindsight, the sweetness of sinking gently into that relationship will always be tainted by the memory of how things had soured between you. Oh, here we go. Back to the present. Judy clears her throat, reminding you that she's still on the phone. So, you're coming to the class reunion, right? So we go, yes, I'm over Chew. The thought of seeing Chew again makes my heart twist in complex ways, or, I don't really want to see Chew, but I'll survive. I guess we're going regardless. I was thinking about yeah, it is set for a Q4 release, but yeah, the way these things usually work, the full game will probably have you just start fresh. I doubt the demo progress would carry over. Like it's, like some like RPGs or like some other adventure games might do that, but I think for a visual novel, they probably have to start fresh. I would think so, anyway. Okay, yes, the thought of seeing Chew again makes my heart twist in complex ways. It had been years since you stopped itching to look her up on social media to see what she was doing. Now, the curiosity resurfaces. Okay, here we go. So I was saying earlier, because you can top out friendship, not necessarily romance. So can you top out romance, not necessarily friendship? Well, we might find out. Maybe you wouldn't be feeling like this if you'd still been happily in a relationship with Nat. But now, single again, you can't help but let yourself wonder what it would be like to see Chew again after all these years. Would she be dangerously similar to the person you'd fallen in love with as a teenager? Yay! Judy's exclamation nearly blows out your eardrums. Fortunately, you had the foresight to hold your phone an inch away from your ear. Having extracted your promise to attend the reunion, Judy hangs up a little while later. Right, so maybe Christmas we spend with Shay, and then Boxing Day we spend at the reunion. You fall asleep that night with your mind still swirling with memories of life you thought you'd left behind. And Christmas Day. The rest of Christmas unfolds the way it usually does. Hectic, noisy, your extended family asking too many questions you don't have answers for. If you enjoyed visual novel, there's a really good one called I am actually familiar with that one, Pancake. I don't know how long it's been on Steam, but I know I think I remember I initially downloaded it like just as a standalone, like an exe file, like way years and years ago. But I am familiar with it and the content therein, shall we say. Halfway through dinner, you get a message from Nat, accompanied by a selfie with the dogs and Nat's parents out on a morning stroll. Merry Christmas! Hope you're eating all the chili crab on my behalf. If you want to call for a bit later tonight, let me know. Okay, Okay, Nat's American, so it's forgivable, yeah. But chili crab, kind of a tourist thing. The heart symbol in the message makes your heart throb, and you try to tell yourself it had probably been an accident. Frequently use emojis and fat thumbs. There's also a message from Shay with the address of the show she's doing tonight, as promised. Yo, heard from your mom you're a musician too. If you come tonight, you could totally guest star, wink emoji. She is exactly the same through texts as she is in real life. Flirty, irreverent, teasing. You text back and forth for a bit before your mother glares at you. Okay, that is rude. Reluctantly, you put your phone away until after dinner. Once dinner winds down, you head out of the restaurant with your family. Nat and Shay's messages await your reply. Oh, heck. So now we actually have a binary choice. Someone's going to be disappointed. So Nat, we are very much friends. We might still be in love. We are on friendly terms with Shay. I think it's hard to tell, but I think the romance bar is actually identical between the two. But Nat has more friendship to lose. Well, okay, again. It's a demo. We don't have to fuss over it. I know. I felt myself shrinking back into min-max mode. It's like, okay, who's how do we get the most out of this interaction? Can we maybe head to Shay but keep Nat's friendship enough to salvage the relationship? Or no, come on. The final chapter came out in 2012. It's pretty old, but they did a good job on it. Again, that the game created as a passion project ended up being good. Well, I mean, there's such things do exist. Like Stardew Valley was a passion project. Balatro, passion project. Blueprints, passion project. Matter of fact, we'll be playing another passion project later. Because Taste of the Wind is it's a solo dev effort. Oh, you were sassing me. All right, I see how it is. Okay, but no, I do take your point. Yeah, as not only indie games, but indie games like circa 2012, it is pretty. The quality is quite good. Shoot. You text Shay to tell her you'll be there and make your way to the address she'd sent. At the live music venue. You soon arrive at Fat Dog Brewery, a roadside burger place and live music venue where Shay and her band are performing. I have heard of that, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I try to temper my enthusiasm, especially knowing that Concerned Ape and his people they're going to do at least one more Stardew Valley update. So, whatever we hear about Haunted Chocolatier is going to be a bit. But definitely looking forward to it. There's an open-air patio with high tables and fairy lights strung up along the sides. You spot Shay just as she's about to follow her bandmates up on stage. Hey, you made it! Yeah, and I like the bits I've seen so far, but it's just there's just honestly, Peg, there's just too many games. Just so many games. Because like if you remember, like the Welcome to Elderfield demo we did a while back, that's coming out next month. We don't know about Grave Seasons, the one from Blumhouse Games. Neverway got delayed until 2027, but there's another one coming out, another cozy horror farming sim. That's from NISA. That looks like remarkably, feature rich. Also going to cost like $40. You send it, probably going to lose your mind. No worries, Si. I know, like you. I know there's a lot of things like when if you're gonna like speed run and take it seriously, there's a lot to think about, a lot to optimize, and I appreciate your sending that and you taking the time to do that. And I will do with it what I can. Yeah, the year is absolutely wild, and the games just don't stop coming. Fields of Mystery. Yeah, I saw that game as well, and that man, people are nuts for that game. It makes sense. It's got that same kind of fantasy style, but not like what was that one? Sun Haven or something like that. Basically like Stardew but anime. But it's got more of a pixel style. Anyway, Shay flashes you a wide smile when she sees you. She's genuinely delighted, as though she hadn't been sure you'd actually come. She's about to say more when her bandmate yells impatiently from the stage. Oi, flirt later. We're gonna get this show started. Catch you in a bit. Enjoy the performance. Shay hops up the stairs to join her bandmates. You like the art style of that one? Like some super old anime? Yeah. And heaven knows there's plenty more of those out there, but it's there's enough out there that you do have to be either really good or really memorable to stand out, which may be part of the reason why we're suddenly getting a rush of horror farming sims. The space facing the stage is already packed with people. With some creative maneuvering, you manage to weave your way towards the front. The first song starts with a snazzy drum beat that explodes into a fast, rollicking melody. Great. What? No, Shay, you were not doing Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. The lyrics are absolutely ridiculous, and honestly, you'd expected nothing less from Shay. By the time the chorus comes around, most of the crowd is snorting with laughter and clapping or singing along. After the silly upbeat opener, the band eases into a couple original songs. Okay, maybe that was a cover. Your gaze zeroes in on Shay as she effortlessly works her magic. You hadn't been sure what to expect when Shay had first asked you to come, but you're completely swept up in the music. Close to the end of the hour-long set, Shay's gaze picks you out amongst the crowd. I'd like to ask if a special guest would like to close out the night with us. A ripple of surprised oohs at this. Heads swivel in all directions, curious. Shay shoots you a warm, playful smile, waiting for your answer. I mean, we really have been kind of put on the spot. Why not? Loud cheering from the crowd as you climb on stage. When Shay introduces you to the crowd, they go wild for you. Someone cups their mouth and shouts, "I love you!" Either a fan or a very drunk person. It can be both. Shall we do borrowed time? You nod, surprised that Shay knows it. Probably thanks to your mom, who tells everyone who will listen about your songs. This is an original song I wrote. It's about moments you wish could last forever. Also, I am digging the drummer's shirt. I want that. Once the audience quiets slightly, you get the signal to begin. You've performed this song to a crowd this something dozens of times before, but it still gives you a thrill each and every time. A crowd this big? Well, anyway. Shay's guitar waves a soaring thread around your voice. Then, in the second verse, Shay steps closer to share the microphone and joins in, voice harmonizing with yours. There's a raw undercurrent of vulnerability in Shay's voice that feels so intimate you find yourself holding your breath, unable to look away. The two of you trade the bridge back and forth, improvising a duet. You make instinctive adjustments, stretching some of the notes and shortening others, carving out space for Shay's voice and guitar just as she does for you. The string lights illuminate Shay's face as she sings, her face inches from yours. Your eyes flicker shut and you let the music push you into dizzying freefall. The song sounds completely different from how you've written it, but you like it this way. Two voices swirling around the deep, rich tones of drum and bass. She's good, or my heart stirs in response. Let's not dead bat this one. For a moment, there's only you and Shay and the electric pulse of music as it courses through your veins. Goosebumps rise along your arms. In the third verse, Shay lifts the melody unexpectedly, climbing instead of falling. A question? You shift the tempo of the fourth and final verse to reframe the first, the same chords, but reversed. An answer. Your voices lock on the last note of the song. Shay's molten gaze finds yours. The audience bursts into rapturous applause. You come up and stand beside Shay and her bandmates. Thank you! We are the 1AM The Puck Band! Merry Christmas, everybody! After the performance, you sit down on a small stool next to Shay. You're all still sweaty and breathless, but vibrating with a familiar post-show adrenaline. That was amazing! You're incredible! Shay holds your gaze for a beat too long, acknowledging the moment of wordless, telepathic connection you both felt. You still feel the echo of that last note lodged between your ribs. You introduce yourself to Shay's bandmates. I'm Kim's son. Lice. You blink, unsure if you've heard the name correctly. It's because I get in your hair, and once I'm in your life, I'm impossible to get rid of. The conversation between the four of you flows easily over drinks. Kim Sung is laid back and easygoing, and Lice is delightfully blunt. So, are you the neighbor who keeps yelling at Shay about muddy bike tracks? Shay laughs, shaking her head. No. The mom, the one who yells at me. You snort, elbowing Shay. You talk about my mom, not about me? Shay laughs. You jealous? Oh, no, Shay talks about you too. She made us watch all your YouTube music videos yesterday. Shay blinks, uncharacteristically nervous. Did we do the song justice? You nod, smiling as you recall how the song had been transformed. Oh, I love it. We should record that version together. You didn't realize this is something you've been missing, but tonight, playing music with Shay and her bandmates, you feel seen in a way you haven't in a long time. Why are you guys called the 1am Lepak Band? Lepak being spend time loafing around. Lepak is a Malay word for chill or slack off, but maybe there's a story to the name. One night about 2 years ago, Liza and I were performing at a bar in Bugis. Oh, that was before I was part of a band. I had a different drummer back then. In the Ant Blue, we were getting a lukewarm reaction from the crowd, and at some point, some drunk man stands up and shouts, "Go sell insurance or something, losers." Fast forward after the performance, we head to a coffee shop and our drummer quits. She said, "We're just a bunch of friends who Lepak and play music together. It's not a real job." You nod sympathetically. Your parents and extended family have expressed similar sentiments on more than one occasion. Obviously she meant it negatively, but I overheard the conversation and thought it sounded like fun. He pulls up a chair next to us. We start talking, and the 1am Lepak Band was born. Shay grins at you. You're welcome to join the band anytime. Liza and Kim Sung snort, and after a beat, you laugh too. I'll keep that in mind. At some point, after polishing off the drinks and food, the four of you join the throng of people dancing in front of the stage. Keith and Kit, no, come on. I mean, how? Alright, we're getting there. Oh, did we? Yeah, maybe our romance with Nat might have took a hit, but it's fine. It's fine. At some point, the two of you lose Kim Sung and Lice in the crowd. Shay steps closer, taking your hand. Is this okay? You nod, skin tingling just slightly from the contact. The two of you dance till your head's spinning in a whirl of color and sound. When the singer croons something about tropical Christmas, kisses on a beach under palm fronds, Shay's gaze shifts down to your lips, and she makes no move to hide it. Maybe it's the alcohol. Maybe it's the atmosphere, or the way Shay's looking at you. Whatever it is, the kiss sends electricity shooting down your spine all the way to your toes. Around you, everyone else melts away in a blur of motion. When you finally pull back, Shay continues to rest her forehead on yours for a while longer, tracing a thumb slowly along your lower lip. I've wanted to do that since the moment we met. What you imagined? That and more. As the song winds to a close, you rejoin Shay's bandmates at the table. You catch Liza and Kim Sung looking at you curiously, but at your self-conscious expression, Liza rolls her eyes and waves a hand at you. Don't worry, nothing I haven't seen before. Shay laughs, shaking her head. You guys are the worst wingmen ever. The three of them devolve into good-natured bickering. Eventually you decide to call it a night. It's getting late, and the venue has begun to empty out. Harem protagonist Aura, I'm trying, Pancake. We're going for the full polycule ending, if we can swing it. Instead of taking a taxi back, you'd accepted a ride back from Shay on her motorbike. Cool wind buffets your face, and the engine thrums beneath you. You're beginning to relax, taking in the Christmas lights, when the bike suddenly sails over a speed bump. You get a millisecond of airtime before hitting the ground again, nearly crashing into Shay's back. Shay laughs, but doesn't take her eyes off the road. Good. You can hold on to me if you want. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Shay leans back slightly so you can feel her warm body against yours. You rest your chin on her shoulder. Enjoying the ride? So much I've considered getting myself a motorbike. Shay chuckles. At the next stoplight, she looks over at you, dark eyes sparkling. In the meantime, I'd be happy to take you on as many joyrides as you want. Shay makes another wide turn. The swooping sensation makes your pulse race, and your grip around Shay's waist tightens just a little. My aunt used to fetch me around on her motorbike as a kid. She'd call it eating air. As the bike flies along the nearly empty roads, you taste the crisp night air on your tongue. I can see why she called it that. The ride's almost too short. Before you know it, Shay pulls up in the car park of your apartment block. Shay pauses. I had a really nice time tonight. She looks hopeful at you. Want to come over to my place? Well, okay, see these... Wait, okay, they are updating without telling us. We are equal friendship and romance here. I mean, what's Mom gonna do, yell at us? She does that anyway. Shay's eyes light up in genuine excitement. She takes your hand, and the two of you walk towards the lift lobby where you'd first met. Okay, I don't get the sense anything TOS risky is going to happen here, but we'll stay vigilant just in case. Because it's all been rather chaste up till now. Like they didn't even like the soaked through white shirts in the chew bit were fully obscured, so there's nothing to see there. And Shay leads you to her bedroom, flicking on the lights. It's been a long time since you felt this thrumming, pulsing electricity with someone other than Nat. You push aside this thought and look around the room. It's crowded with all sorts of posters and, as expected, plants of various shapes and sizes. There's a guitar hanging on the wall, and even an old vinyl record player on a side table. If you're wondering, I recently installed some soundproofing so the neighbors don't complain about the jamming sessions. Occasionally, it comes in handy for other activities too. Wink. You snort, punching her in the arm. Shay laughs and puts a canto pop record on. A smoky, velvet baritone fills the room. Okay, so we're explicitly being told here. We can sit there in bed chatting. We can snuggle in bed and enjoy the music together, or walk Shay toward the bed, smiling, parentheses, intimate. I mean, come on. After all this, we're going to be chased? You press a hand to Shay's chest, walking her toward the bed. When the back of her knees hit the bed, she grins, cornered. Kiss me. Blood pools at your gut. You don't need to be asked twice. This time, the kiss is open-mouthed, hungry, and a little sloppy. You taste the gin and lime on Shay's lips. Every last shred of your caution falls away in a haze of desire. Shay's hands slide down your body to your hips, then pause at the hem of your shirt. She breaks away long enough to look at you, eyes hooded. May I? You nod, letting out a soft huff of breath when Shay strips off your shirt. Her clothes join yours in a heap by the bed. Shay tips you over onto the bed, and things progress very quickly after that. A while later. Gradually, the two of you come down from your highs, breaths evening out. Your body still tingles with residual pleasure, completely loose and boneless. Shay lends you a fresh set of clothes, and the two of you settle back into bed next to each other. Shay rests a head on your shoulder, smiling. You know, I was expecting you to be good, but I was a tad better to be than good. You laugh. Tad better than good? Such scintillating praise. Yes, the virgin eyes of Twitch's advertisers need not be sullied by the sight of kissing girls. Heaven forfend. She wraps an arm around you, scooting closer. She traces her fingers along your body, mapping its contours. Want to hear something a little sad? I don't know, do I? Well, here we go. Homophobia on the way. There's a raw honesty in Shay's gaze that makes you sober up a little. You get the feeling Shay hasn't told the story to many people, because it spills out of her in jumbled pieces. In junior college, I had a crush on a basketball teammate. For weeks, it appeared as though she felt the same way, but she never said anything explicitly. We went to prom, with different dates of course, but we bumped into each other in the bathroom. You raise an eyebrow. Shay nods, shooting you a wry look. Yeah, teenage hormones. You can probably guess what happened next. Things got heated. One of our teachers walks in on us. That might not have been that big a deal, but my teammate blurts out that I'd come on to her, and she hadn't wanted any of it. Oof. Ooh, that's rough. Your gut twists, arm tightening around Shay. Oh shit. Yeah, they believed her because I wasn't exactly a model student in those days. After that, I was nearly kicked out of school, and my parents, well, my aunt took me in. I turned 18 a year later and never looked back. Shay's tone softens as she waves a hand at you, winking. I like to think things have gone uphill since then. Shay sobers up slightly, but there's something dark and fierce burning steadily in her eyes. People keep telling me to leave Melbourne, London. Shay arches an eyebrow, dimples flashing. New York? Well, clearly. But why should I be the one to leave? I have people I take care about. I'm happy here. Most days, anyway. You laugh and touch a hand to Shay's cheek, gently. Knowing this about her, you can't help seeing her easy, laid-back optimism as courage. Something she'd chosen, and continues to choose. You'd run half the world away in search of happiness, freedom. Shay had found it here, somehow. Leslie Chung's voice floats through the room, ethereal and wistful, as the canto pop singer. Shay's so close you can feel the warmth from her skin. I'd very much like it if you stayed over tonight. I mean, we've been here this long. The two of you curl into each other, the last song fading into a quiet hush. Good night. You shut your eyes listening to Shay's even breaths until a dream tugs at the edges of your consciousness. The next morning. You anchor to sunlight streaming in from the window. You blink blearily, orienting yourself in the unfamiliar room. Memories of last night come back to you in little snatches. Shay is still fast asleep, smiling faintly. Whatever dream she's having, it must be a good one. You turn onto your side, watching the dappled morning light cast dancing shadows across Shay's face. A sharp twinge of regret refills me. I'm not ready for this. Take things as they come, or smile. I could do with more mornings like this. A buoyant, floating feeling spreads itself through your body. Your heart swells with an irrational fondness for this person you've only just met. You no longer believe in love at first sight or soulmates, but you can't deny how quickly you've been drawn to Shay. You like the way she makes you laugh, the weight she'd eased in your chest. You hadn't felt so comfortable with anyone but Nat in a long time. Last night's intimacy felt new and unfamiliar, but maybe you needed that. You're up early. Did we not tire each other out enough last night? Her voice is low and teasing, still rough from sleep. Shay reaches out to trace her thumb along the curve of your jaw, making your entire body tingle. What are you doing? I want to remember this. All of this. Your heart flutters. Do you use that line on everyone you sleep with? Shay tilts her chin, gaze impossibly soft. Just you. The sun slowly lifts itself above the horizon, setting the sky ablaze with color. Eventually, you both sit up. Stay for breakfast? You're tempted to say yes, but you know you should really be getting back home. It might already be too late to pretend you got home last night. She picks up your discarded clothes from the ground, passing them over. I'd like to see you again, though. Shay scoots a little closer, expression hopeful. There's a boxing gym I go to in Geelong. You want to come with me? We can have dinner after. You raise an eyebrow, and Shay laughs. I know it sounds like I'm suggesting it so I can beat you up, but it'll be fun, I promise. Even lice think so, and they hate exercise. First you steal my lift, now you drag me somewhere to beat me up. But your tone is teasing, and Shay's eyes sparkle. You'll regret it. Okay, so there's a very real chance we could max out romance before friendship. After breakfast. To appease your mother after your disappearance last night, you spend most of the day with your family. That afternoon, the four of you play mahjong. The Christmas presents for your extended family are stacked in a pile between you. Winner takes all. To nobody's surprise, your mother ends up winning by a big margin. As a result, she's in such a good mood, she doesn't even complain that much when you tell her you're eating out with your old junior college friends. When the evening rolls around, you each meet by the river, as promised. Guys, just small digression, but just seeing this, I feel transported back to what was it? Was it a Clark Key? I forget which key it was, but there's Singapore has like a spots just like this. You got restaurants literally like right there on the water. Like when I was in Jakarta, some coworkers and we went on a visa run, and where it's like you leave the country, go to Singapore, spend most of a day there, and then you fly back in the evening. Well, while the Indonesian embassy is processing your new visa. But we went to an Indian restaurant like just like this on the water, and it was just astounding. She pulls you into a bone-crushing hug, thumping you on the back as though executing the Heimlich maneuver. Capital H. Although I do appreciate they're not using the British spelling of maneuver, which always just makes my head hurt. Apparently there's supposed to be an O in there. Oh, people are going to be so excited to see you! It's been years! The two of you stroll along the river to the restaurant where you'll be meeting the rest of your classmates. Hey, maybe this is the day you and Chu finally get over the bad blood between you. You've never actually told her what went down all those years ago, even though you suspect Judy guesses some part of it. Oh, here we go. Another flashback, 7 years ago. In the months leading up to the national examinations at the end of junior college, Chu and you spend most of your waking hours after school studying together. Amidst the whirlwind of classes, mock exams, and college applications, you and Chu fall even more in love. One afternoon, the two of you head to the library after class, but the air conditioning isn't working. Oh dear. Your brother invited some friends over, so your house is out. I guess we can go back to my place. My mom's out with a friend today. She'll be back late. You're right. Chu hasn't invited you over in weeks because her parents are going through a rough patch, and she's been spending as little time as possible at home. All you know is that Chu's mom had found out about her dad cheating. Chu never wants to talk about it. Sure, I'll come. Can we make dumplings for dinner together after? As far as you're concerned, that recipe is the only worthwhile thing Chu ever inherited from her mother. I swear it's the only reason why you continue to hang out with me. Oh, among other things. You slip your hand into Chu's, fingers lacing together as you head toward the bus stop. You settle down next to Chu at her dining table. The two of you work mostly in companionable silence. You're finishing up a chemistry assignment, and Chu's doing a literature mock paper. After 2 hours, your attention slowly begins to wander. Chu looks up, her eyes narrowing at you. I can feel your gaze from here. She looks up at you, lips curling into a crooked smile. You promised not to be distracting. You're the one being distracting. You see Chu's throat bob up and down as she swallows, gaze growing thick. I still got 5 more minutes on my practice test. As you move a little closer, thigh pressing against Chu's, you see a small flicker of desire dance across her features in response. Okay, so it seems like this is going up, despite all this happening in the past. So yeah, it does seem like. Yeah, it does seem like the choices we're making in the past, so they're going to shape our interaction in the future, at least potentially. Okay. She did ask. She says you have 5 more minutes on her practice test. So, Chu's eyes continue to burn a hole in your soul. She draws closer, hand coming up to cup your jaw. Your heart skips. Chu leans in, eyes fluttering shut. Oh, here we go. Chu's mom appears at the threshold of the living room. You hadn't heard her come in. Judging by her horrified expression, she has definitely seen everything. Chu hastily lets go of you and steps back. She tries to school her expression into something fairly neutral, but you know her well enough to see the panic in her dark eyes. Shit. There is a long and terrible silence. The thump of your heartbeat is the only unreliable measure of time you have. Chu doesn't tear her eyes from her mother, and an entire conversation seems to be had in your presence, except you have no idea what's being said. Finally, Chu's mom rounds on you. Homophobia. Yeah, wait. I figured that was coming. I knew there was something wrong with you. Is that what you think? You'll never know what Chu had intended to say because Chu's mother cuts her off. She holds nothing back. The Mandarin words come at you sharp and fast like throwing knives. In English, Mrs. Lin has always been hard and derisive, but in Mandarin she is a force to behold, a typhoon, sweeping and tempestuous. You think this is love? Between the surface of fury, you see a pang of fear and repulsion on her face that makes your gut twist. Chu is not like you. One day she'll wake up one day and see this for what it is, a perversion. She spits the last sentence out at you. The words wedged like barbs in her heart, sinking deep into soft flesh, slicing all the way through. Okay. This is an understandable reaction, but I feel like that would set everything on fire. Same as that? I mean, maybe Chu would appreciate the fierce defense, but she might also take her mom's side. What will be genuine? I mean, the fact that we end up where we do in the future suggests no matter what we do, things are going to go poorly. We might as well be true to ourselves. You know this woman deserves nothing of your honesty, and yet you give it anyway. For Chu, partially, but mostly for yourself. The words well up from deep inside you and flow through your veins, spilling out of your mouth before you can stop them. You've never had to use Mandarin for anything other than writing academic essays before, but you try your best to find the right words. For the deep, intangible feeling of peace you feel when you're with Chu. For the warmth that fills your chest when you first see Chu walking down the corridor in the morning. I get it. You want what's best for her. But I do too. Finally, you tear your gaze from Chu's mother to look directly at Chu. Chu's gaze is raw and too tender. You're still presumably speaking to Chu's mother, but the words are meant for her. Maybe you're right. Maybe we're not meant for each other. Maybe we're not meant to last. Maybe this is just two teenagers being stupid. But I want to give it a shot. For a moment, it seems neither Chu nor her mother have any answer to this. Then Mrs. Lin snaps at you. That's enough. You can tell your words have rattled Chu's mother to the core. The hollowness in her tone hits you harder than the rage that had preceded it. Don't lecture me about what love looks like. Her voice trembles slightly, which is the first sign of weakness you'd seen from her. I know about mistakes disguised as love, and believe me, I do not wish that on Chu nor on you. She picks up your bag from the ground and hands it to you. Go, this is the last I want to see or hear of you. Through it all, Chu says nothing, just stares at you, dark eyes swirling. This, more than anything else, is what breaks your heart. You bite down so hard into your lower lip that you taste the metallic tang of blood. Thanks for saying what you did. You know she won't change her mind, though. I didn't say those things for her. I said them for you. Chu simply stares at you, warmth and regret warring in her eyes. You realize that, for as long as the specter of Chu's parents' pride and their expectations hang over her like a noose, Chu will never be happy. And you'll always be collateral damage. The realization turns into a cold, hard pebble in your gut. You shake your head, staring straight into Chu's eyes. In the span of a few wordless minutes, something inside you wilts and turns to ash. Chu catches your arm, voice breaking. Don't make me choose between you and everything else. I can't. Your heart, made brittle by everything that happened yesterday, finally shatters completely. I'm not the one making this an either-or situation. Don't pin this on me. Chu's face is wan, making the dark circles more obvious. Has she gotten any sleep last night? We'll just not hang out at my house. I'll tell my parents I'm studying outside, alone. Nothing has to change. An easy fix. As long as you stay within the clean lines of Chu's boundaries and never ask for more, Chu would pretend the problem doesn't exist. Okay, so we can say no. If that's all I'll ever have, I'd rather walk away now, or nod because I'd rather have something than nothing at all. Now, in a real world relationship, this would probably be the healthier choice because she's basically dragging us into the closet with her. But let's be honest, we're a teenager, we're down bad. In spite of everything, the soft, foolish part of you still wants Chew in your life for as long as possible. The next few days morph into weeks. Nothing is the same. In place of the heady, giddy feeling of falling in love, there's a gnawing, uneasy sensation that eventually the other shoe will drop. You see Chew in class every day, and the two of you still spend some time together after school. But you no longer dream about the future you might have had with Chew. Instead, you pour all your energy into studying, just to fill the hole in your heart Chew used to occupy. Yeah, Pancake, it's not healthy. But no one said we had a healthy relationship style in the first place. Again, we're a dumb teenager, and we know for a fact that whatever we do is doomed. But we're slowly ticking that romance up. Soon classes come to an end. You take your exams and leave the rest up to fate. In the end, you get a full scholarship to NYU and Chew to the best law program in the country. Well, that'll be NUS. As the deadline to accept or decline the offer draws closer, you agonize over the decision. Even though it's pretty much over between you, a part of you still hesitates at the thought of leaving Chew behind for good. The day before the deadline to send in your reply to NYU, Chew shows up at school with a bouquet of flowers. The card in the bouquet reads, "Congratulations." You're not sure why, but it feels like a final kick to the gut, even though you're sure Chew meant well. You know you're being ridiculous, but you clung onto the small sliver of hope that Chew might ask you to stay. A long silence stretches between the two of you. You stare at this person who would never be yours, and perhaps never had been. Lincoln remains silent with a stony expression. Why did he give me up so easily? Or your mom was right. It would have hurt less if we'd broken up then. Well, no, I'm not giving that woman an inch. Yeah, why do you give me up so easily every time? You glare at Chew, anger blurring the edges of your vision. You pluck the card out of the bouquet and only barely resist the urge to crumple it up. Chew stares at you, brows knitting. You think it's easy lying to my own mother about who I hang out with every week? You clench your fists, firing back. You think it's easy being a secret you have to keep for your mother? Chew takes a shaky breath, lifting her chin. What do you want me to do? Curse the universe like a melodramatic Shakespearean star-crossed lover? Beg you to stay? You arch an eyebrow, staring Chew down. Would you? Chew opens her mouth, then closes it again. You see the pride and pain warring in her expression. In the end, though, she shakes her head, tears prickling at the edges of her eyes. I can't ask that of you. You square your jaw. No, you won't. There's a difference. Tears prickle at the edges of Chew's eyes. Chew, who always has an answer to everything, is stumped. Will you come back? To Singapore? You blink, genuinely stumped by the question. I don't know. I hope you do. Chew's voice is so soft you can barely hear her. But if you don't, I hope it means you're happy there, that you found something worth staying for. You nod. You stare at Chu, torn between bitterness and love for this person who'd caused you so much grief and brought you so much joy. Goodbye, Chu. When Chu leaves, you accept the offer at NYU. That's the last you see of her. Until now! You and Junie have both stopped walking. Junie listened to the entire story without interrupting, but now she rests a hand on your shoulder and squeezes. Damn, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Chu told me some of it, but I hadn't realized it was so bad. Junie pulls you into a hug, and you let yourself relax from the embrace. You do feel a little lighter now that you told Junie about what happened. You gonna be okay later? If Chu shows up? Junie turns to thumb you the way it should come. Because if you'd like to bail, I know the best Burmese place down that way. You wave a hand at Junie. I'll be fine. The restaurant is all sleek black and white lines and dark mahogany. Yeah, very classy. The space thrums with Christmas Eve energy. Clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, murmur of low conversation. Well, that's weird because it's Boxing Day. You scan the sleek interior until you spot familiar faces at a corner booth. Tech, your classmate and Junie's boyfriend, gives you both an enthusiastic wave and dashes over, pulling both you and Junie into a bear hug. You're heading towards the table with the two of them when the door swings open again. Something, instinct perhaps, or maybe just bad timing, makes you turn to look. Chu stands silhouetted in the doorway. The smile on your face freezes in place. Time slows. Chu's eyes meet yours, and all of the air whooshes out of your lungs. Her dark gaze is exactly how you remember it: turbulent, depthless, and frustratingly unreadable. You let your eyes trace the hard, angular structure of her cheekbones and jaw down to her tailored shirt and pants. It all speaks subtly of success and power and prestige. All the things Chu's parents had always wished for, no, expected of her. You hear she's a public prosecutor now, and she certainly looks like the type of person you would want to go up against in court. And yet, in the subtle softening of her eyes, as she holds your gaze, you see traces of the Chu you once knew. There's a hollow ache in your chest. Slowly, Chu lifts her chin, and her lips curl into a wry, almost cryptic smile. I was starting to think I'd never see you again. So we are... Yeah, our friendship barely exists, but our romance is up there. So, me too, it's been a while. Remain silent, overcome with emotion, or... Yeah, honestly, we're an open book. You stare at Chu, the first person you've fallen in love with, and the first person to break your heart. In the end, the words spill out of you before you can stop them. I missed you. Your honesty seems to floor the both of you. Chu blinks a couple times, then takes a soft, shuddering breath. You know that meeting Chu again would send all these memories rushing back, but it has a stronger hold on you than you expected. Well, thank you for the hydrate, pancake. Now, we're about to hit 2 hours, and we've been keeping kind of an unofficial rule that demos get 2 hours to cook before we move on, but I get the sense that once we're through with the Chu part of the story, that might be the end of the demo, because as far as I can tell, we've met all the romance candidates, so excuse me, we might push through. Her face softens into a smile that makes your stomach flip. I miss you too. You let out a soft sigh. Even after everything that happened, it seems Chu still has the same ability to scramble your logical, thinking brain. Yeah, I think I'm getting that same feeling, Pancake. That once all the players have been introduced, that'll be the end of the prologue. She pushes a strand of hair out of her eyes. You recognize the tick. She does it when she's nervous or uncertain, and there'd been a time you found it impossibly endearing. After chatting for a while, Chu's gaze slides to the table where your classmates are seated, watching the two of you with undisguised curiosity. She tilts a chin to the back exit. Can we talk outside for a bit? Frown, okay, say it here. That feels needlessly provocative. I nod warily or use humor as a shield. Sounds like the start of a murder mystery. Now we'll play it classy, play it straight. Your heart rate quickens, and your throat goes so dry you don't trust yourself to speak. Instead, you just nod wordlessly, already praying fervently that this isn't a terrible mistake. Chu's expression takes on an unmistakable glimmer of hope. Okay, friendship coming back. You follow Chu out the back door to the restaurant into the alley. The door swings shut behind you, shutting off the noise. The alley is almost empty, save for several lonely pigeons pecking the ground for invisible food scraps. A crescent moon hangs like a silver comma between the rooftops of the old shop houses. The back doors are flanked by a motley arrangement of dented garbage bins, air conditioning compressor units, and plastic chairs well worn from countless smoke breaks. For a while, the two of you stare each other down without speaking. Once, almost 10,000 miles of sea has stood between you and the path that you'd fought so hard to leave behind. Now, Chu standing so close you can smell the unfamiliar scent of her soap. True to character, she hasn't changed it even after all these years. You step back, trying to render her proximity less overpowering. You don't want to be reminded of sweeter times, simpler times, times when touching Chu, loving Chu, had been as natural as breathing. Okay, we're outside. What did you want to say? Chu takes a deep breath, and something shifts in her expression. Whatever had remained of her hard exterior crumbles to dust in front of you. I wanted to apologize for the way things ended. Your heart drops to the pit of your stomach. I'd assume you'd always be in my life. I was 18 and stupid, and Chu keeps going, words coming out rough and unpracticed. I cheated everything on their list, ticked them off one by one. It didn't make me feel anything. Chu sucks in a breath, then chokes out the words. I thought I could do what my parents wanted and come back for the things that actually made me happy afterward. But by then, you were already gone. You think of that afternoon at Chu's house. Everything Chu's mother had said, and everything Chu had not. You think of the flowers, and the question Chu had been unable to ask. You look at Chu for a long moment without saying anything, palms sweating in the humid night air. I never stopped wondering if things might have turned out differently. If I'd said something then. If I'd asked you to stay all those years ago. Say, no, you made your decision, I made mine, now we live with it. No, okay. These are very aggro. And again, we're going for the harem ending, so why are you telling me all this now? She was making you feel things you're not sure you want to feel. You wave a hand at the tailored suit, the carefully styled hair, the accumulated evidence of how much your lives had diverged. You squeeze your eyes shut, feeling the old wound split open, your voice rawer than you'd expected. You fight for every goddamn thing in your life. But you never fought for me. So let me. Chew looks down at her hands, then back up at you. I know it's too late for all that, but when Judy told me you'd be here today, I knew I had to try to talk to you this time at least. So many things have not changed. Her intent gaze, the determined set of her jaw, the way she still makes you feel like you're the only person in the world. And yet, there are so many other things that'll never be the same. Years that you've lost and never will get back. I'm not asking you to turn back the clock. Just lunch. This week. That's all it has to be. I mean, come on. If it's just lunch. This is exactly what you dreamed of once. If this happened years ago, you would have said yes in a heartbeat. Now, you're wary. But even against your better judgment, you find yourself nodding before your logical mind has time to protest. Chew's entire face lights up, pulling old sensations out of you with that smile. The hairs on your arm prickle at the warmth that blooms in your chest in response. Absolutely. If, for our lawyer X is asking if that, yeah, well, we will absolutely go to a high-end restaurant and she'll be paying, because I'm pretty sure, being a musician in New York is not a lucrative business. The pigeons continue pecking at the ground. The moon hasn't moved an inch, but inside of you, something shifts. Journal? Okay. She said you again, sorry about that we were through, and yet I agreed to lunch. She's performance honestly is so much more than I expected. Spend the night together, no matter what. Like, ooh. Okay, that I'll screenshot that. Might need to submit that for a bug report. Okay. All right. We know where that's headed. Before she takes us to a food truck. Well, we might go to a hawker stall. It is Singapore. There's lots of them, and they're good. Back at home. That night when you return home, you realize everyone's been asking you the same question. Are you staying this time? Chew had asked it first, before he'd left for New York, then nearly a decade later. Nat, on a hot afternoon at the beach, then on a snowy New York. Shay, as you dance with her in a throng of people and in the privacy of her room the next morning. For years, you've been living in the space between cities, between a past you can't forget and a future that's just out of reach. Tomorrow, you wake up in your childhood bedroom with 4 days left in Singapore before the new year. As you walk from the car park to your apartment, you wonder what it would take to finally arrive at an answer to that question. Yay, and that's the demo. Oh, based on your choices in this playthrough, these scenes will be available in the full game. Catch up with Chew over lunch. Spend time with Nat, see if there's anything left to save. Oh, she is going to be so hot in a puffer coat and scarf in Singapore. Go boxing with Shay and have dinner after. Follow-up conversation with Mom about what she said in the kitchen. And many more. Different choices might unlock other scenes in another playthrough. Full game releases in winter 2026. Well, they did say Q4, and I think, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so there's one more month left of Q3. No, you don't need the community blog, thank you. No, this is not the main menu. I would like to go to the main menu. There we go. All right, so we were right. That the Chew was the end of it. Well, I guess we can also see. You can see the male versions of Shay and Chew and Nat. Okay. There we go. That was the demo for Merry Crisis. You know, very sweet. I mean, it does. It leans. Well, as we've seen with this playthrough, you can be a shameless flirt if you want, but you know there is. In terms of salaciousness, there's not very. It is all still rather chaste, and well, I was going to say wholesome, but honestly, the amount of homophobia is it's present. We'll just say that much. But honestly, the story is compelling. It's very heartfelt, and it does get across that tension, you know, being tugged not just between like two cities, two lives, or even two worlds. So I think it's a neat little story, and I say it's by an indie group in Singapore, which I appreciate. And yeah, seeing the Singapore sites, it makes me a little bit nostalgic. But yeah, I like what I see there, and apparently we won't have to wait very long to see the full release. So yeah, we'll leave that there. Twitch friends, hang on for just a bit. I'll throw on the highlights and we'll move to the next demo. YouTube friends, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time, and bye for now.